All right, well, we're going to go ahead and kick this off, but before we do that, I just want to make sure, can you guys hear? I want to make sure you guys can hear me okay and that you can see the screen. If you guys can just tell me, can you see the screen and can you hear me okay? Okay, just wanted to make sure. And you can see the one that says government employees right now, correct? And does it say the opportunity now? Perfect. Okay, I just want to make sure before we meet everybody. And if anything, there's a little chat box that you'll see on your screen. You can just simply send me a quick message in the event that we are, for whatever reason, disconnected or not disconnected, but you can't hear me. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Thank you so much. My name is Javier Rodriguez, and I'm a director of sales and marketing here with Radiant Mortgage Bank. Radiant Mortgage Bank is a full service lender. It's a bank, obviously, as the name says. And we do everything in house. We do anything from FHA, VA. We're talking about reverse mortgages, conventional. We process our own loans in-house. We do everything, including underwriting, funding, and we even draw our own docs. So I want to get started with this workshop on how to market to government employees. Because of the nature of the beast, meaning a webinar, I'm going to move at a pretty brisk pace, but I want to make sure that you walk away with the value that you came to receive as it relates to what exactly it is that I teach people how to do and how I am personally using it to elevate my business. So whether you are an actual loan officer or a realtor, this is the type of information that can help you grow your business exponentially. And I'll show you what that means. Now, first of all, why government employees? People ask me that all the time. Well, when you keep and consider the fact that California has 2.4 million government employees, that's a huge market. Now, also part of that is that some of you might be outside of California. I mean, more California Americans work for the government than they work in construction, farming, fishing, forestry, manufacturing, mining, and utilities combined. So that's a huge workforce, obviously. And so we're going to show you how you can go ahead and leverage that to grow your business. Now, along those lines, the rest of the opportunity or the rest of the story, as they say, lies with the fact that government employees make ideal prospects for real estate and mortgage services as well. We're talking about them having the qualifications that are needed in this new lending environment to successfully close a deal. And what I mean by that is that they have the job history, they have the consistent pay raises compared to the private sector at least. They have a lot of the reserves that we need, including some of their pensions, CalSTRS, CalPERS, pension funds, and so on, that while they might not be able to access them for purposes of transaction, it most definitely helps them in the underwriting as a great form of an actual asset. Now, as you can see here, they do have the things that we need for them to qualify, and especially because nowadays we actually have to be able to afford the mortgage, of course. They are the ones that you want to go after, and they're very predictable. One of the things that I love about government employees is that it's a very cyclical and predictable career, and I'll get into greater detail right now. I was actually just this past weekend for the last 3 weekends, every Sunday morning at 6 a.m. and I've been doing roll call presentations at various jails for the jailers, not for the prisoners, of course. And one of the things that I'll usually bring an observer with me. One of the things that they picked up real quick was the fact that there is a way for this to be extremely predictable and cyclical, as I'm going to show you here in just 1 second. And so lastly, like I said here, when harnessed properly, perpetual success in these lucrative markets always follows. It never fails. The only thing that can possibly fail is you fail to use it the right way, you fail to leverage it, but this never, ever fails. Now, the markets that I'm going to describe to you here revolve primarily around the main ones that I'm very familiar with, including school districts. We're talking about law enforcement, federal employees, and other government entities, including medical and other jobs that are tied into some of the markets I'm going to describe to you right now. When you think of a government employee, it's not just the police and the fire, but there's so many other aspects of it that almost anything that exists, any job that exists in the private sector is usually covered somehow by a government employee as well. Now, the cycle that I'm referring to is one that will help you assess who to focus your time, your efforts, and in some cases your money on, because you want to make sure that you understand at what point they find themselves in their career. Now, we're going to start with the first one, which shows a rookie. I don't care if they're police officers or firefighters or a teacher. Rookies are the ones that are coming on board. You don't want to spend too much time with them because in every government position, there's always what's called the probationary period. And during the probationary period, most employees are terrified of making any kind of long-term commitment, like let's just say a house, because of the fact that they don't even know if they're going to make probation. But that is a great place for you to make a good impression and plant the seed so that when then transition from rookie to an established government employee, you're there for the needs that they will definitely have. Now, usually a rookie, especially in the law enforcement community and firefighters and even teachers, when they're rookies, they're still living at home for the most part. So they're going to be more of your first time home buyers, starter homes as we call it, once they hit the established part of the cycle. From there, they move to their prime earning years, and their prime earning years are usually the longest phase that they're going to come across, because in this phase is where they spent the bulk of their years. And we're talking about 20, 25 years for a lot of them, because once they go beyond the prime earning years, they move into the retirement red zone where they're more focused on getting out than staying in, and then they transition over into retirement. Now, what does that mean for you as a realtor or as a loan officer is that you got to know that if they're, again, rookies, they're probably going to be first-time homebuyers. There's a lot of great programs for first-time homebuyers out there right now that can help them with down payments. There's also a lot of great programs like the ones that we run. When we have a new client that's a government employee, what we do to help them out is that as lenders, we credit them with all of their closing costs, not counting their down payment and their non-recurring or prepaids, I should say, such as their escrow account, stuff like that. We don't credit that, but as far as the actual closing costs, we help them out by paying every single dime of their closing costs. And so again, that's something that we do that's very unique. It gets us a lot of business. Once they're into the established one is when they're going to move again into their starter home. So you want to be there for them, know that they're going to obviously need a starter home. They usually last in the established phase for about 3 to 4 years before they really go into their prime earning years as they promote. And usually one of the things that they do is they start to form a family. And when they go into those years, that's when you really want to become aware and make sure that you're keeping some kind of tabs on them. There's a lot of different software that can help you monitor your pipeline. I've been in this business for a very long time, so my pipeline extends many, 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 many years. And so you want to do that because as soon as they start to grow a family, have kids, and so on, they're going to want to move up. And so it usually gives you a listing in regards to the current home, plus, of course, a purchase side when you help them buy the next home as well. When it comes to the retirement zone, that usually equates to, once again, uh, going something smaller, usually out of state, might be a referral for you to send it out of state, whatever the case might be. But they're definitely almost always are going to want to go ahead and reduce the expense that and maintenance of a bigger home where they're empty nesters, and then they go, of course, into retirement as well. So that's the cycle that it works. And so when you walk into a school, a police station, a roll call, which is what I do a lot of, you can immediately, just by looking at them, usually assess what phase they are more likely in so that you know what to tell them, how to approach them, and how to turn them into a client. Now, the challenge for almost everybody is how do I get into these markets? In other words, how do I access the markets that you're talking about? And it's true. It's very, 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 very difficult for most people. 98 to 99% of the agents out there, meaning realtors and or loan officers, are never able to get past the front door for obvious reasons. One of the most obvious reasons is security. We're talking about very sensitive places like schools. We've got kids running around. They can't just have people come in and start pitching their services, if you would. Police stations are even worse because obvious security reasons usually keep you on the other side of the front desk and not in the back part where the employees are at as well. Now, when you want to get into these markets, there's really only two ways to go about it, either through internal marketing or external marketing. And I'm going to cover both here in the next few minutes. So I hope you're taking notes so you can better understand what I'm referring to and how it applies to you. Now, the first thing I'm going to show you is external marketing, how to do it from the outside. Now, the number one thing you want to do is you want to identify a target market. Now, the target market that you select can be, once again, school districts. You can be going after, you can go after police officers. You can be going after the federal, employees or whatever. But first of all, start with the low-hanging fruit. And the low-hanging fruit will be something that you already have access to or someone who you know that has access to the market you're going to go after. And that's very important because you're going to have to, as I'll cover here in just a little bit, learn the culture of the market you're looking to penetrate. Understand that it will take time, but it's the best type of time because you're going to learn a lot. But once you're done learning and you start applying it, you are never going to leave those markets ever again to go do what most realtors and loan officers do, which is to cold call, market, door knock, or any of that stuff. Because once you have enough, probably 5 to 6 clients, they become your advocates in that market. and they start referring business to you as you continue to grow your operation as well. So identify a target market. My recommendation is usually to start with either school districts, and within the school districts, you have to understand that there's two sets of employees in all schools. On one side, you have what are called certificated. Now, certificated employees are those that have teaching credentials. In other words, the teachers. Certificated fall under what's called CalSTRS, which is the California State Teachers Retirement System, and so on, and they usually make the most money of all the employees in a school. The second classification is something called classifieds. Classified employees are not the teachers, they're anybody but a teacher. So the janitor, the office worker, the cooks, and so on, those are the classifieds. My recommendation to you is if you work with schools, stick to the teachers. You got to stick to them because they are the ones that make the most money. They are the ones that work the most hours, and so on. Many schools have office employees that only work part-time. Cafeteria workers are usually 2 to 3 shifts, so they only get 15, 20 hours a week at the very most. And so you want to go where the money's at because the other employees more than likely will not qualify unless their spouse has a very good job somewhere else. But again, for the sake of efficiency, focus with the certificated side of the house, meaning the teachers. And I'll give you an example about that just in 1 second as well. Now, the other one that I wanted to also cover with you was law enforcement. Law enforcement just law enforcement happens to be my favorite market, and in that world, you're going to find two types of employees as well. On one side, you got those that are called or referred to as sworn, which are police officers. They carry the guns and so on. And on the other end, you have civilians, everybody but the police officers. Once again, the cops are the ones that make the most money. That's the ones that I would focus on myself. Now, once you do that, the second thing to do is to identify a need in that market. You're going to have to identify a tangible need that they have. Now, I'll give you an example of how we do it with schools. With schools, one of the needs that we identified, which I'll cover in greater detail, were supplies for the classrooms themselves. Another need they might have are fundraisers. Those are the best because they have universal appeal. In the police departments, one of the things that they need all the time is good PR. So there, I'll show you how you can mash them up together and kill several birds with one stone. Another thing that a lot of police departments need is fundraising, whether it be for a station fund. Every police station in this country has what's called a station fund, which is, for the lack of a better phrase, a slush fund. Every officer, every paycheck pays a few bucks into it, and that's what they use to buy the coffee and the coffee cups and anything that the city does not pay. Fire stations are notorious for that because every firefighter has to pitch in every payday as well because they have cable in there that the city doesn't pay for, and there's always expenses. And so again, money is the ideal way for you to approach. So identify the need in that market, and you can never go wrong with helping them raise funds. Number 3 is going to be to initiate contact. Now, when you initiate contact, it's going to be very important that you have your ducks lined up in a row. And what I mean by that, you have to find out who's who in the zoo and make sure that that person that you're going to talk to already understands at least a basic understanding of what you're going to discuss with them. And so once you initiate the contact, by that time you should have done the bulk of your homework because the rest will be either a straight no, or if it goes beyond that, it's going to be a yes. Now, when you meet with somebody, always lead with their need. Nobody really cares that you need to get a new listing or close a new loan so you can pay your mortgage. Nobody really cares about that. The thing you're going to focus on each and every time is going to be with their particular need. Now, again, it could be fundraising. It could be a station fund. It could be backpacks for kids. It could be school supplies. I'll give you some real life examples here at the end. And if you understand how powerful this approach is, you will never have a shortage of business in your life again. Now, when you finish up your conversation with them, you always finish with your need. In other words, you don't want to come across like a foundation that all you're looking to do is make them whole and that you really don't care about yourself, that you're just, somebody with a good heart that expects nothing in return. You don't want to do that because everybody will take your money all day long, every day of the week, and twice on Sunday. So you have to make sure that you cover in your little opening statement what's in it for you, because if they have an issue with what's in it for you, that's your cue to simply move on and go to somebody that respects the fact that you're going to give them something first, and as a form of appreciation, you can turn around and generate that much more money. So you want to make sure you do that. Now, this is also very important. Step number 6 is simply draw the picture. You're going to have to draw a picture because they don't know you, or they might know you. Hopefully they do, but if they don't, sorry about that. But if they don't know you, they have to see what's in it for you, what's in it for them, how it all fits and makes sense. Because if it does not make sense to them, they won't allow you to proceed. Now, number 7 is you're going to validate your worth. And this is very important, especially in the beginning. And the way I'm going to show you how to do that here in just 1 second will be by somebody validating that you've worked with before as to what you do and how well it benefited them. So you truly have to validate yourself. And there's more ways than one. I'm going to cover one here in number 8. When we get to number 8, you're going to deliver as promised, meaning that not only are you going to deliver, but that you're going to over deliver. I don't care if you're helping a school with the fundraising, with cupcakes, or if it's a school supplies drive, or many other things you can do. You got to make sure that you deliver exactly as you promised, if not more. That's very important. And here's another thing that's also crucial, and that's going to be to document your events. Biggest mistakes people make is that they hold great events, but if you don't document it with pictures, they're not going to allow, it's not going to serve you any good beyond that one event. And you always have to lead with verification and validation of what it is you've done for others. And there's literally no better way to do it than with what I'm showing you right now. And I'll show you an example of that as well. Now, step number 10, which is my favorite part, is that once you do the first 9 steps correctly, all you have to do is taproot the market that you just helped out. And what I mean by that is that so many agents, I don't care if you're a loan officer, I don't care if you sell life insurance, I don't care if you sell anything, they spend the bulk of their time servicing what are called first generation clients. They get a client, they simply go ahead and get paid. They leave a referral sheet. A referral is the greatest compliment I could receive. Thank you. And they move about finding new clients. And that's the worst thing you can do because there's no end to that. If you're a loan officer, if you're a real estate agent, one of the questions I have for you is, what is your exit strategy yourself? If you have to constantly be on a treadmill to produce, especially first generation clients, you're going to find yourself, unfortunately, struggling too much, and you're not going to go the distance. Now, if you're in real estate and mortgages and all that, you already know that the turnover rate is horrendous. So therefore, I'm sure that's why you're here today, to learn how not to be part of the many, but yet be part of the few, the ones that go the distance and stay here and are able to benefit from this. And most importantly, those that have a steady stream of what I call advocates that go out of their way. And I'll show you some examples about that to get you business without you having to go out there. I don't spend a penny in advertising per se, but I do spend money in events like the ones that I'm describing to you. Now, let me go ahead and just give you another example. That was a little more of the external, and let me show you some case studies as it relates to that. Let's just say you have a police department, like I was picking on one. And I love working with law enforcement because once you know the culture, or once you learn the culture one time, it's the same wherever you go. I'll give you an example of one of the ways. They have what's called the Baker to Vegas Challenge Cup Relay. Now, this is a race that I won't say every, but 280 teams, 280 police departments, 280 police stations participate in every single day. Now, one of the things that these guys need is money. And the reason that they need money is because that's how they used to pay not just the entry fee for the race in Las Vegas. Every team is made up of 20 runners, 20 support staff, and usually about 20 friends and family. About 6,000 to 8,000 police officers participate in this every single year. Here's a few of the pictures. Now this is pretty crazy. They literally run from Baker, California, which is a big thermometer in the middle of nowhere, all the way to Vegas, hence the name Baker to Vegas. It's a great thing for them. It's a lot of fun, but it's very expensive. And so one of the things that they're always looking for are sponsors. Now, like I told you earlier, you never want to come across as just a sponsor, if you would, because that's not really what you want. You want to partner up with them. You want to partner up with them. And by partnering up with them, I'm saying that they're going to get something, but you're going to get something in return as well. Otherwise, all you're doing is you look like a groupie, and they're going to take your money. You're going to get nothing in return. They're going to say, we'll put your logo or your company logo on the back of our newsletter, and you're out a lot of money, and getting nothing in return. Now I'm showing you here an example of how you have to do your homework. Now what you see here in front of you is a list of the 280 teams, and you'll see how they're scattered all over the damn place. LAPD department-wide team, LA Sheriff's Department, CHP, Anaheim, Riverside, Santa Ana. I mean, you can just go on. CHP Central Valley, San Diego, Irvine. I mean, Ventura. We're talking about teams from all over the place. If you look on the right, we're talking about alphabetical order. Albuquerque, we're talking from Arizona, we're talking from Belize, we're talking, and of course we're looking for the ones that are here locally. CHP from every segment of California is going to be there. Bakersfield, I mean, it just goes on. U.S. Marshals, LAPD Newton Station, LAPD Hollenbeck, and it just goes San Jose, Riverside, U.S. Border Patrol, Oceanside. I mean, it just continues to go on and on and on. And the nice thing about this list here is what makes it so good is that not only is it scattered, but in reality, you only need one team, maybe two, to keep you going the entire year. And so, anyways, so here you have a whole list from La Habra. I mean, I'm just not gonna read it to you, but it's literally all over the place, as you can see for yourself. Now, here's the last part of it right there, from Fresno, Irvine, San Bernardino, and so on and so on and so on. So what happens is that what we decided to do, we went ahead and just out of nowhere came up with the idea that we're going to help these guys and gals raise money. But in return for helping them raise the money, what we're going to do is we're going to ask them for something in return. And so, again, once we approached them, like I told you earlier, the next thing that we went ahead and covered was the why they would want to work with us. And so what we said here is, look, we'll provide the barbecue, the food and the drinks. We'll help you cook during the barbecue at your station. And you can keep 100% of the proceeds, 100% of the money that's raised for the benefit of your team. Now, of course, they all come up and immediately start asking, what's the catch? And the answer is there is a catch, because again, this is where your part comes in. Our part was all we're asking to do is to give a 10-minute presentation to your officers in either a roll call, a briefing, or if we can't, at least during a team meeting, because they have team meetings for this stuff all the time. Before you know it, we had, I want to say 46 teams say yes. We started this particular campaign in December, and out of the 46 that we have to see, we've only been able to do 6. There's just too many of them, and I'll show you an example about it right now. Here's one that was done recently at the, we changed the menu. Before we used to do a burger, a hot dog, chips, and a drink, and they usually charge $5. We changed it around. Now it's 2 hot dogs because they're so much quicker to cook, simpler to carry, and a lot cheaper. And so what we do is, like, this is one we did with the Sheriff's Department. They pre-sold 100 tickets before the day even arrived. So if you do the math at $5 each, that was $500 that they had before the event even began. And before you know it, this is the one we did at the College Bureau right there. We just simply, they provide the grill. We did the actual event, which is what you see there. Very simple. With hot dogs. This one still had hamburgers. This was the old one. We don't do that anymore. We did another one for another team, like you can see here. We did another one right here. And the point that I'm making as a case study for you to understand is that we had some that said no. Our chief says no. Our union says nobody can come in. Well, we had to tell them that in that case, we're not going to sponsor a thing, and we moved on. Then what we do, and that's me at the front, after we do the barbecue, and the reason we always wait till after the barbecue is because when you do a barbecue with these guys, by the time you go and meet with them, they'll remember you as the ones that were the ones at the barbecue. And then you're introduced as the ones that sponsored the barbecue. They always say how much, hey, these guys just helped us raise X number of dollars, which makes you look like a complete hero. And as you see here, this is what it looks like. We pass out at these roll call presentations or team meetings questionnaires asking them what is it that attracted their attention the most, and then lo and behold, they start checking off the I'm interested in buying, selling, or refinancing a home. As a matter of fact, I'm going to exit the presentation for just 1 second and see if I can pull it up real quick. I just had it up earlier. If not, let me just go ahead and do this one. We were at the, hold on. Let's see if I can pull this up real quick. I wanted to show you just the ones we just finished ones right now. This past every Sunday, I should say. Let's see. Let me put the other one there real quick. And so what I wanted to show you is what these look like. You see one right there. These are the roll call presentations. Yeah, these are the ones that I was showing you right here that I wanted to show you. And I would say that, like right here, I'm interested in buying, selling, or refining. I literally received in just the last week around 9 uh, clients, of which most, I would say, 5 are to refi, 4 are to purchase. But that's great because that keeps you busy. We actually have a few more to schedule, which I'm going to show you at a later time when I have my webinar on technology. What I wanted to show you is I use a software called Contactually. I don't know what you guys use, but hopefully you use something. Let me just go ahead and show you this real quick. I'm in Contactually now, and what I do, it allows you to set up your buckets. These are my what I call advocates. The Baker to Vegas captains, which is this one right here, as you can see me highlighting. There's 46. Of the 46, we've only been able to work with 6 of them because they're just simply too many. Now, the way we do it is also at the day of the event, we have one loan officer with us. We have one real estate agent, which we rotate. Now, because of the number of real estate agents that I work with, they come around maybe every every 2 months or so. But they do have the opportunity to, for the lack of a better phrase, co-sponsor it, and then they end up getting some of these things as well. This is how we modified it. This is our new sign-up sheet, which is just as you see in the picture: 2 hot dogs, chips, and a drink. They price it usually at $5. We just did one at Hollywood Division, and that one ended up they priced it at 7, and we sold out there as well. So you can see very quickly how this can turn into something. And now when you flip it, this is part of the validation. When we approach somebody, we say, look, we did this for the LAPD Van Nuys Division. They raised $863 in 2 hours. These guys raised $500 before we even got there because they were pre-sold. This is a very small division, but yet they still were able to raise $483 as well. And it just simply takes off from there. Now, the second thing I'm going to show you is internal. That was external because the reason it's external, we're not approved to be in the police station any more than you're approved to be in a police station, which is 0. So you better be good at marketing externally because, again, you have to navigate waters that most people just cannot navigate. Now, once you get into one place, it's a lot easier to get into 2, into the 3, and into 4. Now, this is internal. Now, this is going to be a little different because one of the things that I always say is that the reason that most loan officers and real estate agents can't find a listing or can't find a loan is because they're looking for a listing or they're looking for a loan. If sometimes you don't look for it and you approach it in an indirect fashion, you'll have a much greater success rate. Now, let me give you an example of an internal one. Now, I'm going to choose a different market. We are in schools almost every single day. We do group presentations. We don't do individual presentations. They're too inefficient. It's like it just simply doesn't work for us. Now, the way we do it in the schools, we approach them through this. My wife and I put this together. This was created, once again, like the previous one, from scratch. And so what we did is we came up with an organization we just named For Our Kids, For Our Future. That's what we named it, For Our Kids, For Our Future. And so what we decided to do is to donate backpacks, as you can see here, that are stuffed with school supplies or sports equipment. A lot of these schools, believe it or not, don't even have the sports equipment for the kids to stay busy during recess and so on. And so what we did is we went ahead and approached police departments and say, hey, how would you like to have some good PR? Well, what do you mean? Well, we're going to be giving stuff away, backpacks and sports equipment, and we're wondering if you want to partner up with us, and all you have to do is show up, shake some hands with the kids, give them a pep talk of a few minutes, and that's it. And of course, they're like, well, hell yeah, we'll do it. So all we asked them to do is if we can borrow their logo. Here's what the Montebello School Police Department did. They say we could use it, and then we approached the schools. And when we approach the schools, instead of saying, hey, can I come talk to your teachers? We simply say, hey, my name is Javier Rodriguez with For Our Kids, For Our Future. I'm interested in donating some either sports equipment to your school or 24 backpacks that are pre-stuffed with school supplies for 24 well-deserving kids. I'm looking to nominate your school. We're taking nominations right now in the city of Montebello, and the Montebello School Police Department will be in attendance during the event. That's their logo up here. They are key partners of ours here in Montebello. And what we do is and that allows us to gauge how a school will come along and play with us or not. And if they don't, we just simply move on to the next one. Then, of course, at that point, we just show up and we always over deliver. These are just a few of the many, 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 many thousands of backpacks we've given away throughout the years. throughout LA, Orange County, and San Bernardino County as well. We've gone as far as with being recognized. We've gotten recognized by the LA School Board of Education. That's AC Green there in the middle, being recognized as well for his efforts to help out the kids. And all of a sudden, you start to build a name for yourself. They know us as the backpack giveaway people, instead of knowing us as the life insurance, retirement, or mortgage, or real estate people, which is never, ever a good thing. Now, there are secret weapons, as I call them. I'm going to run one by you right now. And this is not for everybody. I'll tell you that right now. One of the secret weapons, if you would, is if you affiliate yourself with a company that's already approved in a market that you're looking to approach. Now, for us, the only markets that we really are approved to be in are schools and school districts, meaning school police departments. Because with this company, which is First Financial Security, or FFS for short, what it does is it markets and works with some of the companies that you see here that are approved with the LA Unified School District. And I don't know where you guys are calling from, but in California, almost every school district, public school district, is on a list as well. And so that changes everything, because now when I go to a school to nominate them for the backpacks or nominate them for the school supplies, I simply approach them with permission, if you would. So their guard is down already because we are approved with their particular school district, and it's just a matter of them seeing the value in that as well. Now, I like this because when we go in here, we are already talking to them about something. Now, if you were to tell me that what is the secret weapon, ultimately, the ultimate secret weapon lies with you being in front of groups of people. Now, I'm going to digress just a little bit and take your attention to this. Now, this is my Facebook page. We always make it a point to document things because this is what opens up the door for us as well. Now, this is the Baker to Vegas thing that I was telling you about. We had to create this seal because it didn't exist, so we paid for that. This is a presentation we did. We usually bring food. Here we brought sandwiches, a case of water bottle. The whole thing cost about 50 bucks. Excuse me, about $50 for this is a running team. At this place, they told us in particular we couldn't do the roll call presentation, so we just moved it to the community room. And all these officers some are on, some are off duty. But and if you notice, he's holding the questionnaire that we pass out at the end. That's just that one right there. This is the Hollywood division presentation I was telling you about, where we were actually there with this is with permission. So this is the one we did before, the other one that we did. That's my wife. Let me show you a few other ones. This was at the jail. I was just there this past Sunday. Once again, what's really nice about this one right here is that you can see it's chock full of people. We picked up 6, not listings, but purchases and a few refis just from the 6 a.m. roll call, and they were so impressed with the information we spoke about that they invited us to come back for the 6 p.m. because they're on 12-hour shifts as well. And so again, this is just another one that we do. And so we do a lot of these things that once you understand the marketing element, people ask me all the time, so what the hell do you do? Are you a realtor? Are you a mortgage? Are you doing life insurance? Or my job is to market, which is to generate clients. That's what I do. And the products and the concepts that we do market just really have no meaning in anything as it relates to what it is I do, because of the fact that it's all about generating the leads. Now here, I run multiple Facebook sites, and this is a class for another day. But what we have here, what I'm going to show you, is what we call the police fundraising barbecues. And this is what people go and look at before they consider whether or not they let us in. And when they see here people of trust, people that they recognize, this is with the LAPD, whether it be with the sheriffs, this is at Van Nuys, this is with Pomona PD, on and on and on. It will make your job a whole lot easier. So going back to the PowerPoint, which I ended here, we go in there, we do group presentations internally. Externally, it's more like the barbecues. Internally is when we have permission to be there. Once again, we simply pass out these cards that you see here. And what we're looking for, we'll take anything. But when they click on the buy, sell, or refi, one of the things that I would recommend to you is if you're a realtor, take the interest of the mortgages and work with somebody that does mortgages as well, so that when the opportunity arises to sponsor something, you can either afford it or not pay as much. And if you're a loan officer, the same thing. I have a system that all the barbecues that I showed you that we do, I have a booth, and we always set up our table at the same place where the other table where they're going to collect payment takes place. And at the day of the event, what we do is they come up to the table, they buy their ticket for $5, $7, whatever, and next to the person handling the money, it's our people. We have a loan person, we have a real estate person. I mean, here you are going to have an example of that will be. Let me go back over here. If you're going to have 100 people, 150 people, like we did, let's just say this was the biggest one we did at the county jail. When you have 150 people walking by and you're giving them a postcard that talks about how it makes more sense to buy than rent, and then another one, how about another postcard talking about how they shouldn't miss the boat on today's historic low rates. It doesn't really matter if you're the realtor or if you're the loan officer. There's enough business for everybody. And again, this is something that you can do. We're doing this with the California Department of Corrections, which are the prisons, and they're scattered all over the damn place as well. It doesn't cost a lot of money to do these because sometimes we cook ourselves. Like in this example, this is an officer. He was doing the actual grilling, so we just simply paid for the food. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to do it. This is again Pomona. They raised over $900 in just a few hours, so they were happy as can be. It's all about you just simply setting yourself up in a place where those government workers are at. My calendar is jam packed with appointments right now, from just a few barbecues that we did that not too long ago, and I think I pulled it up already. This is the first one we did, which is a very small roll call. Oh, it was there already. As you can see, these are just the things that people have noted on them that once again, oh, I remember where they went in regards to that. And of course, they want to buy or sell real estate. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just pull something up real quick, and this is more impromptu, so forgive me. Oh, that's my dog. You don't want to see the dog. Hold on. Here's what I wanted to show you. We did 2 roll calls on Sunday. The first one that we did, which is the one that I'm going to show you, was this one. And as soon as we left, that's when they invited us to come back in the evening as well. As you can see, they'll put you their name, their phone number, what they want. Here's another one. Buy, sell, or refinance a home. Buy, sell, or refinance a home. Buy, sell, or refinance a home. And this is just from the morning session. The evening went even better. That's the picture that I was showing you. Here, let me back up and show you. That's the evening one right there. As you can see, there was more people. So on this one, they wanted to get more information. Another one, buy, sell, refinance a home, phone number, email address, name, and a date and time to give them a call. I thought there was another one in here somewhere. Buy, sell, or refinance a home. I mean, if you're a realtor, if you're a loan officer and you're struggling to get business, that's me during giving the actual presentation on Sunday. So again, there's a lot of business to be had, but my recommendation to everybody here is to do that. Now, here's the last thing that I will go ahead and obviously we're not in person. I do this workshop usually in person. It takes me a lot longer. But here's one thing I also wanted to mention. If you're already a real estate agent, seriously consider becoming an NMLS licensed loan officer. Here's why. Number one, as of September of last year, in the state of California, and this is only for people that are in California, in the state of California, for the first time, you can become a realtor under BRE and sell homes and all that good stuff. But at the same time, as of September, you can become a loan officer. And when you become a loan officer, as a loan officer, all you simply do is get your NMLS license under the what used to be the old DOC, which is the DBO now, the Department of Business and Business Oversight. So you can literally do loans and do real estate at the same time. And you are so much better where you do both things because earning trust is earning trust. When I go to these places, they don't know if I'm licensed to do life insurance or retirement or real estate or loans, but I get it all. And they don't care because if you're a decent person and you earn people's trust, they don't want to go to somebody and take a chance. They want to make sure that they do business with you. We do a lot of business, and so if you are interested in becoming an actual MLO with our bank, we are looking for people right now. As a matter of fact, we just settled down our first new group. We actually have 2 people that are having issues with the NMLS, not on our part, but the NMLS. But what we are going to be doing, and this is where I wanted to invite you as well, is I'm at our website, which is RMB, as in Radiant Mortgage Bank, rmbuniversity.com. This is a private website for our agents, not for clients. It's not compliant for clients. It's for agents. We have 2 events coming up. Both of them take place on March 19th. One of them is at 2 p.m. for those that are available during the daytime. And the second one is on the same day at 7 p.m. for those that are not. And so what we're going to do at this event, we're going to get everybody up and running. Either if you are NMLS licensed, to make sure that your license is active with us, and if you're not NMLS licensed, to make sure that we do everything we need to do to help you become one as well. If you are interested in anything that I've described, please just give me a call. I'm going to give you my information. You should have my email. Obviously, it's how you registered. But what I'll do is I'll go ahead and add it to this one right here, so you can have my name and phone number as well. Now, my goal is to also earn your trust as it relates to any potential mortgage business that you do. If you do have a potential buyer, we can get you an answer as to whether or not this is a viable buyer in no more than 24 hours. We get them all day long. We process them immediately. We run the credit. We don't charge you. We don't charge them. We pay the actual credit fee, and we'll review it. And within 24 hours, we will tell you, you know what, this person just had a BK, or this person just has this. This person has, recent lates. It's a no-go. And if we tell you it's a no-go, it's a no-go. Even though we are a direct lender, we're a bank, Radiant Mortgage Bank, we still work with 16 investors, banks, if you would. So if need be, we will go wherever. But we are a lender. We lend our own money, and we can give you that answer. My goal is to earn your business as it relates to real estate. I don't want you to give it to me. I want to earn it. And then once we start to do that, I can return the favor by adding you to our rotator as it relates to the many events that we do. I have real estate agents come up to me all the time, say, hey, I can go sit in the booth and talk to the officers. We really don't need that. I'm looking for partners. Just simply a licensed realtor, just like a licensed NMLS officer. They're a dime a dozen. They're everywhere. It's about a partnership that, we bring substance to the table, you bring substance to the table, and then that's the kind of relationship we like to have. Again, I'm not asking for anything free. And then not only that, but for those of you that are interested and do come on board as part of Radiant Mortgage Bank, I would not only show you how I do what I do. I mean, right now we are working with 6 teams with what I just showed you right now. 6 out of 46 that have shown interest or have signed up. We just can't get to them all. And then the second element, we're sending out, well, not me, but the company, the LAPD, sending out an email to all 280 teams to conduct fundraisers throughout the spring, summer, and into the fall, so they can have all the money that they need by the time the new registration opens up in November as well. So this is an evergreen campaign we're running. Some of you on the call, I'm looking at the roster, have been to one of my events as an observer. We have people that have been there to watch what we call the team captains meeting, the roll call presentations. We've had some of them that come with me to see how I close the deal, how I pre-qualify them. And so again, if you have an NMLS license, or if you are currently a real estate agent, I mean, it could be a pretty expensive license or career to maintain if we don't have that consistent income. And there's an answer to that too. So again, I'm not going to make this any longer, but what I will do is I'm going to try to open up the lines at this point to anyone that might have a question. But please understand that if it gets too loud, I'm going to have to mute it once again. So just hang tight with me while I go ahead and do that, and we can go ahead and get this going. So just hang tight before we end the webinar, please. All right. At this point, everyone's unmuted. Does anybody have any questions about anything? Okay. Great question. The bank itself is based out of Santa Ana, California. However, I work out of Cerritos. We have an office in Ontario. We have an office in Bakersfield as well, and another one in Panorama City. But everything is based out of Santa Ana, is where we are. But yeah, and I'm mobile most of the time. I'm out and about. Tomorrow I have an appointment at 9 in the morning. Then from there I got to shoot on over to Hollywood for the police officers that we met with just yesterday. Then I go to the Valley. I'm everywhere. I don't process my own stuff. Our MLOs just input it, originate it, and then everything gets taken care of in the back end. Any other questions from anybody, please? Perfect. We do have a preferred, great question. We do have a preferred school called Affinity Real Estate Services. If you go through Affinity to get your school done, what we do is once you get your license and everything, we will reimburse you the cost of the school and everything else that you had to pay to become NMLS licensed. And so we can go ahead and give you that information. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send an email to everyone after the end of this webinar, and it's just going to simply say, hey, thank you for attending. If you wanted to know more about this, call me. If you needed to do the school, call me. Or better yet, for all of you that are on the call, my recommendation for right now would be to have all your questions answered. Well, not maybe not faster, but definitely have them be positioned to just go ahead and go to the website that I told you, which is RMB, as in Radiant Mortgage Bank University.com, and click on one of the actual. Let me go ahead and show it to you once again. RMBUniversity.com, and when you're there, click on either the 19th at 2 p.m. or the 19th at 7 p.m. But depending on your level of seriousness, give me a call or text me or email me, and I will go ahead and make it a point to meet with you before then, so that by the time that day rolls around, we can get you going sooner rather than later. Let me go ahead and hopefully take another call. If not, I'm not going to make this any longer than we have to. Any other call? Any other questions from anybody? Yeah, we can reactivate it, and we will. Okay. Yes, if we can reactivate it, we'll sponsor you. Now, along those lines, it's important for everybody to know we operate as a bank under both the BRE side of the house as well as the DBO. So, regardless of what side of the house you want to fall into, my recommendation is that if you're a realtor and you don't have an NMLS, we'll show you how to get it under DBO. And the reason you want to get it under the DBO side of the house is because that way you can have your real estate license to do real estate if you want to do it. Otherwise, if all you do is have a BRE license and you get an NMLS license under the BRE, that's an endorsement on your BRE license, meaning you will not be able to do mortgages and real estate at the same time. Versus if you go the other side, which is the DBO, they don't care. So you can continue to do real estate with your BRE license and mortgages with your DBO as well. Anybody else before we end it? If not, last call. Oh, good. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, it's got to be. Oh, thank you. No, no, it's a Thursday. So, hold on one second, please. Whatever. What is that Thursday? I have no clue. It's going to be 17th. Correct. It's the 17th. You're 100% right. But, oh, that might be a typo. Thank you. Okay, guys. Well, I'm planning on going up to Bakersfield next Thursday. So maybe, and I wanted to see if we could meet maybe before my meeting up there. So I'll be in touch with you tomorrow for purposes of the questions you had, and also to finalize the time. How's that? Perfect. Okay. Eh, Thank you. Anybody else, please? If not, like I said, I just really want to reach out and just thank you for getting on this webinar. I know it was a pretty fast pace, but everybody's at home. You got kids running around. I mean, I don't know. We don't want to make this too long, but what I do want to emphasize is that there's no reason why people are struggling for business. I mean, if you are, you're literally dying of thirst in an ocean of fresh water because there's so much business, especially when you work with government employees because it's so cyclical. They're always coming in and they're always going out. They're hitting their prime earning years. They are the ones that you want to work with. And there are some in there that, of course, are not going to be the best clients, but the vast majority of them are good people with, again, the factors that we need to get them into the homes and into the mortgages. It's just a matter of teaching you how to connect with them as well. All right? Well, I want to say thank you to everybody once again. Hope you have a wonderful evening. Until next time, we'll be sending out an email regarding our other workshops that include the reverse, how to market reverse mortgages, as well as the VA program, which is my personal favorite one as well. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great night.